Good morning. My name is Alexa Gwines, and I'm a fifth grade teacher at Dogwood Elementary School. And I'm here this morning to share with you an exciting resource that we have housed and offer on our GMSD at homepage under our educational opportunities. I'm going to speak to you this morning about the website Newsela. I'm going to walk you through a couple of different things that relate to Newsela. The first thing I will share is just a brief overview of what this website is so that you can, as a parent, fully understand how to best use this in your household. Two, I'm going to walk you through how to log in and help your student log in if they have never used this website or if they need a refresher from being in the classroom. And then lastly, I'm going to walk you through exploring what this website looks like and how to best utilize it for you and your family. So if you scroll down our webpage, you will see the button Newsela, and if you click on it, it's going to lead you to that website. So before I lead you to it, I would like to just share what Newsela is and their purpose of this website for students. Newsela is a website that was developed for students to read about current events that are appropriate and at their level. Newsela publishes high-quality articles every single day. They try to publish a minimum of 3 new articles daily to try to keep up with the current news cycle. All of these articles are going to come from well-known news sites such as the New York Times or the Washington Post or Sports Illustrated, and etc. The Newsela staff takes these articles and they adapt them to ensure that they are appropriate for students to be reading, and they also publish them at a minimum of 5 different reading levels, which is exciting for all of our learners. These articles cover a variety of content such as arts, health, law, money, science, social studies, sports, as well as an exciting curation of social and emotional learning topics. These articles are usually about a page long, just like a newspaper article might be, and every single student has the opportunity to find something that they are interested in and to read more about. So now that we know what Newsela is, I'm going to walk you through on what it looks like to log on. So if I'm on the Distance Learning homepage and I have scrolled down to the Newsela button, if you click on it, it's going to automatically take you to their search site. You will notice it looks extremely similar to what an online newspaper might look like, and it's going to have the most recent articles that are published available on the home page. Now, without signing in, no student is going to have access to these articles, so you need to make sure your student knows how to log into their account. So in the top right-hand corner, you will find the button where it says to sign in. Now, I am not going to sign into my educator account. I am going to sign into a student account so you can know what it looks like. But there are a couple of options offered on how to sign in. Many schools are already utilizing this tool, and so many students have probably either logged in with their Google account or through Clever. Your students should know how to do this if they have logged in at school. Their Google account will be their GMSD email address with their given password, and same through Clever. Some teachers have given out usernames and passwords, and so if your child is unsure how to log in or if they cannot remember their username or password, I encourage you to reach out to your classroom teacher and they will walk you through getting that information. So I'm going to sign in as my demo student that I share with my students when we first log into Newsela at the beginning of the year. So I have my username, which is demostudent38139, with my password. When I click sign in, I will know that I'm in the website correctly when I see my initials in the top right-hand corner. So you can see that the homepage looks exactly the same, or the search bar, as it did before, except now I have a few more tabs on the top, and I know that it's my account because it is personalized. So I do want to click on the Newsela homepage to show you what this might look like for your student on a daily basis. On the left-hand tab, you can click on your assignments. Now, my demo student has no current assignments that I have pushed out as the educator, but your students may have articles listed under your assignments that they may see from the past before spring break. Or teachers might push out some articles that they could find interesting for students at this time. This is just an easy way. Instead of just sending, hey, look up this article, teachers can push out to their students, hey, I found this really interesting group of articles about butterflies that you might really want to read about. And your students could very easily find that here, so they wouldn't have to search for it. There's also opportunities on our weekly choice boards where teachers may say, log on to your Newsela and look at the text set that's been assigned for them to read a certain group of articles or an article. And this is where your students would see that pushed out. So the second tab, the Explore tab, is going to be more of that search button for your students. So if you scroll, you will see that they have separated it into a variety of different topics that your students can explore. So under latest news, this is where you are going to see those recent articles that get published every single day. And you will see that they have the topic arts, health, science that they would be located under as well. If you keep scrolling, you will notice that they also have put together groups of articles that they think are going to be important for students to read if they're interested in it. So we have a section on the 2020 election. They have an everyday mysteries section, and then trending text sets. A text set is a group of articles, I will quickly show you, that teachers that utilize Newsela, they don't have to be teachers at your school, they can be teachers across the country, or they can be created by the Newsela staff that they think go well together and can help students to understand a topic at a broader level. So this one is obviously about viruses, if your students are interested in that. So I would like to show you the search button. So if your students have a specific topic in mind that they would like to read more about, if your student is very interested in certain things, this is the place that I would come to type in the main idea that they're looking for. So they have some suggested searches. We have our COVID-19, how to relax, games, St. Patrick. But say your student is just very interested in basketball. I could type in basketball, I could search it, and you are going to get the most recent articles first that all relate to basketball. So you will see that a lot of these are very engaging for students to read about, student athletes, teens, our March Madness creation, things like that. Students can scroll and they can click on the show more results, and even the articles that have been archived for a few years will end up showing up, and you can just keep finding more and more results. Now, I would like to point out that my demo student is connected to my specific classroom account, which is an elementary level account. So depending on the teacher that your child's Newsela account is connected with, that will show what is most appropriate for that building level. which is important to understand. So as an elementary school teacher, there are certain topics that I probably would not think to be completely appropriate for a fifth grader or a third grader. And so those are not going to show up on the search button. So if you have a high schooler at home and an elementary student, their searches may be completely different on the same topics depending on the topic that they search. So now that we've utilized the search button, I would like to take you through a couple more tabs at the top just to get our feet wet on what this might look like for a student. Now, since school has been out, Newsela has graciously allowed schools to have access to a lot more articles and a lot more programs than we previously had on our Pro subscription. So some of this actually might be new for your student to look at. I would love for you to click on the News tab, and this is going to kind of be like their main hub of news articles. You will see on the left-hand side all of the different main topics and content areas that each of the news articles can cover. But you can also have your students scroll on what was most popular for the week, the most popular technology trends, and then it goes through what is most current in each of these different topics. So if your student doesn't have a specific topic in mind that they would like to read more about that day, this is the tab that I encourage you to go to for your students to just explore what they might find interesting on their own. If we click on any of our main content areas, this is also new to our subscription. So I'm just going to click on the Science tab. And if I click on the Science tab, if it will pull up, maybe we'll click on Social Studies. There we go, that one works. They're all going to look very similar, our ELA, our science, and our social studies. But these specific tabs have been created by teachers to give students more of a lesson type reading assignment. So there are daily lessons that your students can walk through. Again, they would all be self-guided, but it's a great way to keep your student engaged and learning. We have virtual museum tours, and there's many, many other areas that your students can dig into. One of the most interesting things that my students usually find, there are many primary resources that they can explore and other areas that might be of interest to them as well. So they can take this and explore certain topics that are in this area. They will give them an essential question to think about. How is the coronavirus impacting me? With student instructions, and then I will talk about this SEL connection in a little bit. So again, this just gives your students a world of possibility to explore and to learn from that can be curated strictly for their own interests and purposes. It's not up here currently, but if you search, there are, if your student's very interested in math, there are a lot of articles also that deal with math in a variety of ways as well. Pi Day, prime numbers, how to use ratios. So even though it's not listed at the top, if your student is very interested in math and mathematical things, they can also search that as well. One of the last areas that I want to walk you through is our social emotional learning collection. So your student is not going to see that tab at the top. It's going to be under their specific content where it says your content. Now we'll scroll down and click on the Newsela Social and Emotional Learning tab. I do want to point out once again that my demo student is connected strictly to my classroom. Try this again. There it goes. So it is going to state that this is at an elementary level. I do want to stress that that's very important to the Newsela staff, that the articles and the information that your child is accessing is appropriate for their level of learning. So what is really neat and wonderful about this section as a parent is if you can see your student is struggling in a certain area, this is a great way to have your students explore what types of emotions they're feeling and to feel validated in those emotions like we all are currently. So on the left-hand tab, once again, or the left-hand side, you're going to see a variety of overarching themes that might relate to a social or emotional learning section. But your students can also scroll through, and if they're really struggling with processing grief or self-control or empathy, all of these things, the Newsela staff has put together articles that can help them walk through what this looks like and how to best process these feelings. They also explain these in each section and give them guiding questions on how to think. And so as a parent, if you can see your student is struggling in a specific area, this is also a great resource to help your students read more about, what's normal and how I can resolve this in my head. So that is also offered with our subscription through GMSD. There are all these different tabs that you can click on that can help you as a parent understand the best ways to use these types of articles. The last thing that I would like to walk you through is once your student finds an article that they would like to read, what are some things that you can do with those articles or that your student can do with those articles? So I'm going to go back to my Explore page and I'm just going to click on this article. It is a science article. The title is "For Chicken or Egg Question, Scientist Offers a Simple Solution." You will notice that they will always put which publisher wrote this. So this comes from the Washington Post. However, it was adapted by the Newsela staff, and it will tell you the date that it was published. So this particular article was published on April 1st of this year. In the top right-hand corner, you are going to see the Lexile level that this particular article is showing me. So as I said at the beginning of the presentation, each article is going to be adapted at a minimum of 5 different levels. So if I click on my Lexile level, this particular article is being shown to me at an 850 Lexile level. If I find that it's too difficult for me to read, I can move my Lexile levels down and it will adapt the article to help me understand it more at what reading level I am best suited for. So I'm just going to keep it at an 850. I will also explain a neat feature that Newsela offers that will make it more relevant for your particular student in just a minute. So as I'm reading the article, there are a couple of things that I do want to point out. One is every time, and this will not be available in every single article, but if your student sees these words that are underlined in green and that can be highlighted, these are called power words. So if you click on them, it will help your student. They can listen to the word being pronounced. It will give them a definition, and it gives them a chance to say, yes, I understand what that word means. You will see, I think it's about 10 in the articles, or 5 in the articles that offer power words. But again, they are not offered for every single article. But there are some really interesting things that you can do with it. So once I have read an article, you'll see at the bottom, I can either take a quiz, I can practice my power words, or I can have these buttons also under activities. So I'm going to click on activities, and I will notice that this article does have the option to practice power words. So this is just going to be an extra way for your student to practice vocabulary skills. This is new to our subscription, so most students have probably never seen this before, but it will give them 10 questions that will help them to make sure that they understand that word fully from the article. I can also click on this Write tab. So each article will also have a writing prompt that your students can write and respond. Once they submit that response, it will go to their teacher's dashboard so their teacher can see what they're working on. Your teacher can also respond and give you feedback if that's something the teacher is doing at this moment. But it's just a good way to help your kids practice writing out their ideas and their comprehension. And then the most important part of the article is the quiz. So if your student is using and utilizing Newsela on an everyday basis, they don't have to take the quiz every day or for every single article. The quiz is really important. One, it helps the students understand and realize if they are truly comprehending what they are reading. The quiz is going to have 4 questions. But the best part about the quiz is that as your student takes these quizzes, it's going to help Newsela understand the level that your student is reading at. So if your student has taken 12 quizzes, each time they log on to an article, it's going to make sure that the Lexile level is appropriate based on how your student is comprehending the articles with the quizzes. Most students who have been using this throughout the year have been taking the quizzes with it, and so it should automatically adapt the Lexile level that is most appropriate. But if this is a new resource for your student, they do not probably have that Lexile level already written for them. Finally, at the bottom, any articles that they found interesting that they might want to keep going with that topic, there will be related articles at the bottom for them to explore. So I hope this was just a quick, brief overview for you as a parent to understand what this site can be used for. I hope you can find ways to encourage your student to use this site, even as just a daily check-in of what's going on in the world that could be appropriate for them to read. Please feel free to reach out to me. Once again, my name is Alexa Gwines. My email address is alexa.gwines@gmsdk12, and I am happy to answer any questions that you may have. Please feel free to reach out to your classroom teachers as well. So I hope this presentation gives you a great way to encourage a daily routine for your student, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.